Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to do in behavior, even and odd functions, and just trying to get a general idea of how to sketch a graph given a polynomial. We're not really going to solve anything, but we're going to look at what we can do just by some general information. So, number one is we're going to talk about even and odd functions. Okay. Now, even and odd is pretty simple to think. X squared is an even. I mean, it's pretty simple. That is an even exponent, and then x cubed, that is an odd exponent. So just some examples that we can do for even and odd would be x to the fourth plus x cubed plus x squared plus 1. My leading exponent, my highest exponent is 4, so that makes that even. Then in this case, we're going to go x to the 7th plus x to the 4th plus x, and we'll just do a minus 3. In this case, we have a 7, so that is an odd polynomial. So that's very key to make sure that we fully understand what is even and odd. Now, what we can do is that we need to figure out what does that tell us. And we're just going to look at our two basic even and odd functions, which is our x squared and x cubed. And then we're going to build from this. So our x squared, if we were to put this in our general graph that we would have, would look something like this. It would look like a U. And then for our x cubed, it would look something like this. It would go here, and then like so. Next, so this is what our x squared and x cubed looks like. Notice that our x squared, when we start from 0, they both go up in either direction. And in x cubed, when we start from the origin or 0, 0, it goes down as we go to the left and increases as we go to the right. Now let's write some notation. For instance, what we just said is as x goes to infinity, so as x goes to the right, y will go to, in this case it's going up, and that is at infinity as well. Now let's look at as x goes to a negative infinity, and that's that direction, y is going to go to a positive infinity, it is going up. Let's look at x cubed. As x goes to a positive infinity, y goes up, and that makes it infinity. As x goes to a negative infinity, so we're going to the left, this goes down, which means y goes to a negative infinity. So it's not super important to understand this, but realize that if we start in the middle, the y in this case goes up in both directions, and in this case the y goes down as you go to the left and up as you go to the right. Now what were to happen if we were to take this and we were to make them a negative? So I'm going to use a different color marker. And if I were to say negative x squared and a negative x cubed, all that happens is that it flips on the y-axis. So we go like this, and we go like this. And then we're going to write the notation for this. So this case as x goes to infinity, positive infinity, our y is going to go to a negative infinity. And as x approaches a negative infinity, y goes to a negative infinity. Notice that only my y is changed, not my axis. Now this one, as x approaches a positive infinity, y goes to a negative. So as it goes to the right, it goes down. And as x approaches a negative infinity, y approaches a positive infinity. So just neat stuff that you need to know. Now, any of our graph that we can do, so we're going to erase. So I'm going to leave this here, and then we're going to erase our graph. So we're just going to look at an even polynomial. So we'll look at like x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1. And again, we really don't know what this looks like unless we use a graphing calculator or plot a bunch of points. But we're just going to look at this and see that for this one, because it's a positive, that we know that it has to go up here, and it has to go up here. So no matter where it starts, from the middle, it's going to look something like that, and we'll get to how we know that in a second. But we know it has to both like that, just like our x squared example, where it goes both up. Now let's look at x to the 7th plus x to the 4th plus x minus 1. We know in this case, again, that it has to start down here and it ends up like this. Okay. Alright, so that is just a brief description of even and odd functions. Now let's just do a couple more examples, and then we will move on to figuring out why I know there are so many terms in this. Let's look at negative x to the 4th, and we're going to look at negative x to the 5th plus x plus 2. And let's just make this 2x. Okay. Well, in this example, it is just like this, where we know as x goes to infinity that y is going to go down. So it's going to end somewhere down here. In this case, it's the same thing. It's going to end somewhere down here. And our graph is going to look something like that. Again, it's just a sketch, not really knowing what it's going to look like, except for our end behaviors. Now, in this case, so it's going to, as x goes to negative infinity, it's going to go to positive infinity. So it's going to go up here. In this case, it's going to go over here, because as x goes to positive infinity, y goes to negative infinity. And it's going to look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and down. Okay, so you try it on your own, do different examples, and ask questions if you need them.